Shalom and welcome to Looking Up. This week we read Torah portion Chayei Sara. And the first thing we find out in this Torah portion is that Sarah, our foremother, died. From Midrash, we learn how it happened. At that moment, when her husband Abraham was tying their son Yitzchak and getting ready to bring him as an offering to Hashem, Sarah was home. She didn't know what was happening. But the evil angel Satan visited her, and he showed her an image of Yitzchak, who was about to be slaughtered by her husband Abraham. This was too much for Sarah to take, and she died. This seems like nothing but a great tragedy. Is there a lesson we can learn from this? Yes, there is. The commentaries say that Sarah could have survived the shock except for one thing. As a part of that image that the evil angel showed her, Sarah got to see Yitzchak's face overwhelmed with fear. She took it to mean that her son was so much afraid of that knife that was by his neck, she couldn't stand the thought of her son experiencing such a trauma, so she died. But she was wrong in her assumptions. Yitzchak was not afraid of the knife. He was not afraid of death. He was on such a high level of spiritual accomplishment that he was not afraid of these things. That look of fear on his face was a new level of reverence for God that he reached and was experiencing at that moment. It was not a trauma, it was a healthy fear. If Sarah realized that, then she would be proud of her son, because every mother wants her child to be a God-fearing person. Sarah just didn't realize how far her son could go, so she misinterpreted that look on his face. True, it was Sarah's time to go, and nothing could have prevented that. But in her death, she taught us all a very personal and relevant lesson. Let us be careful not to jump to conclusions when it comes to spiritual matters. It's too easy to be wrong. Let us not assume that a God-fearing, observant Jew must be suffering because he had to give up all the pleasures of life. Let us not assume that a Torah scholar must be depressed because all he does is studying all day. Let us not assume that Shabbat must be oppressive because one cannot play golf or watch television. These assumptions are all completely opposite of the truth. And most importantly, let us never assume that we cannot all live successful, observant Jewish lives of great quality and meaning. We may be wrong even about ourselves, and consequences might be very, very serious, as Sarah taught us in her final earthly lesson. Instead of making tragic assumptions, let's stop, think, consider, ask, and learn. Let's investigate until we find the truth. Not only might we surprise ourselves with what we discover, but the life we save may be our own. Shabbat Shalom.